Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm professional sports handicapper Ross Benjamin of RBWins.com. And like every Friday, I'm joined by Mr. Chip Chirimbus of the aplay.com, one of the finest handicappers that's been around for a few decades. Let's just put it that way. And he deserves to be in the Sports Handicapping Hall of Fame, in my opinion. But anyway, how are you, Chipper?
I'm doing just wonderful as long as we're sticking with our best bets. I mean, I'm doing better than James Harden, honest to God, because and better now than Kamara. Boy, that was a terrible scene out in Las Vegas. But, life goes on for us, and we got NBA games each and every day and NCAA games that we have to stay on top of regardless of what else is going on.
This is our college basketball betting edition. We are going to be covering a couple games for tomorrow, Saturday, February 12th. But before we get to those free picks, there's a couple things that we need to discuss, in terms of the Super Bowl. And then we had some NBA trades. So we're going to cover a couple different sports here before we get to our free picks. And friendly reminder, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. And you'll be alerted right away. That's if you hit that notification bell, you'll be alerted right away whenever we put any of these great sports betting videos up on this channel. Chipper, yes. We saw some NBA trades at the deadline. The most memorable NBA trading deadline I could remember in recent history anyway.
Well, because there was a lot of things that were surrounding it. I mean, Ben Simmons hasn't played all year. He couldn't get off the psychiatrist's couch. And we had, the malingerer in New Jersey, in Brooklyn, who all of a sudden came up with a bad hamstring. He came up with a bad injury in Houston. He's always got something going on if he doesn't want to play. So Harden's gone, and his injury kept him off the All-Star team. But Kevin Durant didn't want him on his side, that's for sure. And, basketball, the NBA right now, these trades, like you said, I think Ben Simmons coming to the Nets is really good for them because he plays defense. He rebounds. They don't need him to shoot if they have Durant and Kyrie Irving. And, he's an assist man as well. Who's going to play the point? Like you mentioned, that might be a question because Irving certainly commands the ball when he's out there. But I think it helps the Nets. I really do, because they don't play defense. Now they got one of the premier defensive stalwarts in the league, a good rebounder, and an assist man. You can't play him in the last 4 minutes of any game, Ross, because if you're in a close game, he's just over 60% for his career from the free throw line. And guess what? In the fourth quarter, he's below 50% in key games and down the stretch. So you just can't play him. Doc Rivers knew what he was saying when he said they can't win a championship with this guy. Well, not in so many words, but that's what he said, Ross.
Right. Well, I mean, it bit him in the behind last year in the playoff series against Atlanta. You saw what Atlanta did, exactly what Chipper just alluded to. Anytime that Philly had the lead late in the game, less than 5 minutes to play, less than 4 minutes to play, what have you, up until the 2-minute mark, you could foul a guy intentionally and send him to the free throw line. Then after 2 minutes, under 2 minutes, I should say, if you foul them intentionally and they deem it to be an intentional foul, I should say, then they get 2 shots in the ball. But I mean, the positive there is you could use Kyrie at the point guard position in the final 5 minutes on the road anyway. I don't know when they're going to change that law in New York.
Kyrie finishes going to the basket almost as good as anyone I've ever seen before. Now, if you send Ben Simmons to the basket and he doesn't finish, he's at the free throw line. Yes. So, that's a liability, a huge liability, and they're going to have to make adjustments.
And that's what I was going to touch upon. Yes, I think that Kyrie is suited to play the 2 guard because he can slash, and he's one of the best finishers in the game. Yeah. You can't take that away from them. So the other trade, there was a couple other trades. One was a blockbuster, if I recall right. But anything else you want to touch upon?
The Kings finally got rid of Bagley. He's gone. And I was quite surprised that he was having so many problems where he was, because I thought he was going to be a future star in the league. But somehow some of these people, they just lose their way, or they lose their focus, or, there may be something else involved that we're not quite aware of. But, these trades right now, it's kind of boggling the things that were happening. I mean, the Celtics got rid of a slew of people, and so we're going to have to see how some of these guys fit in. And like you said, when will Simmons be able to take the court?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'll be cured just like Harden will be in a matter of 24 hours. But I think I really don't know why they're not looking to get him on the court.
Yeah, that 24-hour bug, huh? When you don't want to play for somebody. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I read a report today that said that he's out for the foreseeable future. And now I'm not sure what all that means, and I'm not sure how credible that report is. And I certainly don't want to stir up a rumor. So before I speak and not do the proper research, we'll see what transpires there. But Chipper, usually when you see blockbuster trades like this, you like to sit and watch. In this particular instance, Philadelphia and Brooklyn, you want to sit and watch for a couple games and see how it's going to gel, what kind of chemistry we have, and make a determination from there.
I think Harden can fit in. People are saying, how is he going to fit in with Simmons? Remember, there was a year when he led the league in assists. Of course, he had the ball 90% of the time. Maybe he's going to have to give it up a little bit more often in Philadelphia. But Embiid has been on an incredible tear the last 3 weeks. I mean, just MVP numbers every night. And I don't know if he's going to maintain that. And I don't know what kind of impact Harden's going to have. But I do think that he could mesh in with the 76ers. He's not going to play this weekend, I believe. They said they're giving him his physical. So we'll see what happens there, But the adjustments here, like I said, if I had Simmons, I'd say, don't worry about your shooting. Don't even think about shooting. Just play your game and we'll win with you. We'll supply the offense because they got, like I said, they got Durant and they got Irving, and they don't need anyone else, really, if you got a guy playing defense and rebounding the way Simmons can.
Well, they don't grow 6'11" point guards. They don't fall off a tree. Let's put it that way. So, interesting to see what happens coming up. The Super Bowl, we've seen the line go from 4 to 4.5 to 4 to 4.5. The total has maintained at 48.5 after it opened at 51 on Sunday night, quickly went down to 50. And then over the course, I should say 2 Sundays ago, after the conference championship games, opened at 51, immediately went down to 50, and it dissipated down to 48.5, and it's maintained that number for approximately a little over a week now, Chipper.
And I've seen some 3.5s pop up today, Ross, in different places. So I think that it's definitely trending down. We know that the Bengals are the popular public side, the sentiment. Everyone likes this kid Burrow, and for good reason. He's a winner from way back when. He didn't go back to his high school basketball championship days. But it's going to be a great game. I hope it's not another one of these 14-3 dull, boring things. But I think Cincinnati's defense may be suspect. Their offensive line may be suspect, but Joe Burrow certainly makes up for the slack on both sides.
Yeah, he doesn't get rattled. And we saw that in that game against Tennessee. He was sacked 9 times and was under constant pressure. But the kid just hangs in there. He shows a lot of composure. He's got a great pocket presence. He could pull it down and run. He's not a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson in that regard, but he can, pick up a needed first down to move the sticks. So
he maneuvers very well in the pocket as well. I mean, it's very difficult to drag him down, even though Tennessee had like 9 sacks or whatever they had in that game. He's still, like you said, it's hard to throw up when you're lying on your back, but he does get up. So, he's the focal point of this Bengal team without a question.
Yeah, and that's the concern for Cincinnati. Their offensive line has been a concern all year long. They don't have any kind of a running game or a consistent running game. Joe Mixon's a good back, but if you don't open holes, there's nowhere for him to go. And Cincinnati gave up 57 sacks during the regular season, which was the 3rd most in the NFL, while the LA Rams sacked the quarterback the 3rd most times in the NFL as well. So doesn't seem like it looks like a perfect storm for that LA Rams front 4 against I shouldn't say depleted, but not a very good offensive line, even though they're in the Super Bowl.
We said keeping his composure. And I heard today, and I actually had to take a step back and relook at and reevaluate this. after going down 21-3 and the Chiefs not scoring just before the halves, the Cincinnati ran the ball on first down 16 times in the second half. And
Yeah.
that's saying we have confidence, maybe give us 3 yards and then Burrow's going to take care of the rest. So, plus the fact that when you're running on first down, when they're down 21-3, I think you're catching the defense a little bit off tempo. They're expecting them to come out and throw almost every down, I would imagine. And that was a great comeback win for them. Very disappointing for me, but it's a brave new world this Sunday.
Hey, I was happy about it. So sometimes that happens. You're happy and I'm sad and vice versa. But they all even out when you're good handicappers. Anyway, I think the wild card in this game maybe Odell Beckham. I mean, because Cooper Kupp's going to draw a lot of attention, and Beckham seems like he's fit right in with Matt Stafford. They have a nice chemistry going on, him and Matt Stafford.
And maybe not so wild because Higbee, the tight end, is now on the IR. He's not going to be playing. Yeah. So, that may increase the number of targets. But he had 11 targets in the championship game and 9 completions. So, actually, I think Matthew Stafford's feeling very comfortable throwing the ball to Odell Beckham. And we know Beckham's got the talent, but he's got to hold on to the ball when he gets it, too.
Yeah. Ironically, he went out last week, Higbee, and the backup tight end for the Rams had 4 catches all year, and I believe he had 7 catches for 62 yards. I just got to think that tight ends, they're not going to get a lot of attention when you're defense in the Rams because of the speed on the outside between Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham and the other kid Jefferson. So I mean,
Woods is out.
And Robert Woods really wasn't a speed guy. He was, a guy who would catch 80 balls a year, but average less than 10 yards a catch. That's been his MO throughout his career. Now, certainly he would help because you could play him in the slot and the other 2 guys on the outside. And that creates a lot of mismatches. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting, Chip. I mean, raise your hand if you thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to be in the Super Bowl this year. Now put it down because you're all a liar who raised your hand.
You're lying.
Anyway, so Saturday, February 12th, as always, there's a huge college basketball card in the month of February, and this Saturday will be no different. And Chipper, I understand you got a free winner for us.
I do, and you know what, Russ? Other than my top plays in college basketball, I'm Megabuck plays. As a matter of fact, everything else has been like garbage. And, I have to be transparent about this. I'm 12-3 in the last 15 Megabuck plays in college basketball, but it really doesn't help if you're 1-2 and 1-3. And that's what I've been doing, winning the big one, and everything else around it's falling down. But I think I have a pretty good matchup here in the Big Ten on Saturday. Ohio State, who's coming off a loss at Rutgers, and is ranked number 16 in the country, is going to Michigan right now, who is just a so-so team this year. I don't know how much you've seen them, Ross, but I'm really not impressed. They're 8-2 straight up at home.
They were pretty impressive in their last game, I can tell you.
This is what I'm getting to. They were 4-6 against the number, but they won 2 of the last 3, including the last time out, which was my Megabuck winner. Purdue. They beat Purdue handily, 82-58, and they look like a whole different team. But with the Buckeyes coming off this loss against Rutgers, the lowly Scarlet Knights, and Michigan, well, this is such a big game because of the rivalry between the school, but I just don't think Michigan's talent matches up. Like I said, 4-6 at home this season. 2-3 right now. They played their best game of the year, and I expect them to come back to the middle. And I expect the Buckeyes, also who played poorly, to come back to the middle. And I think Ohio State has the advantage here, being the better team, getting points on the road. And here's Michigan off of their biggest win of the season against a ranked team like Purdue, and they pounded them by 24. I have to take it. By the way, Ohio State's won the last 2 times they've gone to Michigan to play basketball. So I'm going to take the Buckeyes here. I think this is a solid play. And let's just hope that they sit and get it done.
Yeah, Ohio State plus the 2.5 over Michigan for Mr. Chip Chirimbus of theaplay.com or chipwins.com, whichever one you prefer. They both get you to the same place. And, Chipper, Ohio State, because I know this because I had Rutgers the other night, and I believe you did as well.
Yes, I did.
Ohio State led that game 64-56 with less than 3 minutes to play, and Rutgers finished the game on a 10-0 run. to win that game by 2. So real difficult loss for Ohio State. They won't be in a good mood. And, you have to wonder, Michigan, like you said, they had an out-of-body experience in that game on Thursday night, walloping number 3 Purdue. And it's hard to imagine they could play that well 2 nights later or even carry over that emotion and intensity they displayed in that win over Purdue. I'm going to go on a smaller conference level here. I'm going to look at the Missouri Valley Conference game between the Drake Bulldogs and the Bradley Braves, a game that will be played at Bradley, 8 p.m. Eastern time tip-off. Right now as we speak, and again, folks, Bradley's a -3 favorite. And like I just said, with the other game, Ohio State is getting 2.5 at Michigan. Keep in mind, folks, we're recording 24 hours in advance. So depending on when you view this video, these lines are subject to change. But we do grade our picks on the line we use when we record live. Having said all that, Bradley's getting hot at the right time. They're only 14-11 on the season, but they've won 6 of their last 7 games. And they've also gone 4-0 straight up in ATS against this, or 4-0 straight up in ATS at home. And they won those 4 home games by an average of 16.4 points per game. So not only have they been winning at home, but they've been winning decisively. And that includes an upset win over Loyola of Chicago earlier this week. 68-61 is a 4-point underdog. Drake, on the other hand, coming off back-to-back disappointing performances, both on their home floor as they lost to Northern Iowa and Missouri State. And Chipper, they shot just a little over 37% combined in both of those contests. And it's not good news when they're shooting that bad and they're facing a Bradley team that over their last 5 games has held opponents to a combined 39% shooting. Drake, a better road record overall, but better conference record. Yet they're a 3-point underdog in this instance. And Bradley did win at Drake earlier this season by 12. So it's not like they will come into this game with a lack of confidence, but they're in no way, shape, or form going to be overconfident as well, looking at their 14-11 record. And they are half a game behind Drake in the Missouri Valley standings. So a little bit of desperation and urgency on the part of Bradley. I'm going to lay the 3 points here with Bradley over Drake on Saturday. And Chip Chirimbas, he likes Ohio State plus the 2.5 over those Michigan Wolverines. Chipper, tell the folks what you got coming up, how you've been doing of late. I know you've been hot with your Megabucks plays and anything else you'd like to add.
Well, like I said, this is the meat of the season for us. Big games, big money on the line. And my big games have been hitting at an incredible pace. 12-3 the last 15 releases. I won't talk about my secondary plays. Nothing good to say there, Ross. I can tell you. But my top play, this is why I've called myself the A play. I've always had that ability to single out that single strongest play, the game that I see that just sticks out like a sore thumb for me, and it's been a winner. So log on, follow the buy links, and get my big game winner on Saturday at the A play or chipwins.com.
Yeah, and there's over 140 games, I believe, on Saturday's card. So if Chip could isolate one of those 140 games, I would think that you would even take it even more serious, because that's a lot to choose from. And if he isolates one game and says it's the best out of 140, I like his chances. Anyway, I'll have at least 5 picks up in college basketball for tomorrow at rbwins.com. That's my personal website. That's rbwins.com. Also, right now, I have my 10-star top play up for the Super Bowl. It's a winning side. Folks, my NFL 10-star top plays entering the Super Bowl have gone 9-3 with the last 12 and 11-4 with the last 15. My NBA is red hot right now, 12-4 with my last 16. And all my picks since January 28th are a solid 32-22, which is good for 59%. That's rbwins.com. I will have a Super Bowl winning total up for this up on the website tomorrow. And last year I cashed both my side and total with Tampa Bay and the under. So jump aboard. Super Bowl. If you don't want to do the Super Bowl, plenty of winners coming in basketball from both of us. Again, you can find Chip at chipwins.com, myself at rbwins.com. And until the next time, for Chip Chirimbus and Ross Benjamin, we like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Good luck and God bless, folks.